Last two times she's been here, I've been traveling, and so I've never heard her speak. And so all of you have had that privilege, and I have not, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. But and you may have heard her bio in the past, but since I haven't, I'm going to read it to you, because it's pretty impressive. To start off with, she's a third-generation Unity minister. How about that? 3 generations in the family. That's pretty impressive. And she's a teacher with almost 40 years of experience in facilitating transformative spiritual education and growth for individuals and communities around the world. Laura Barrett Bennet is the founding minister and CEO of the new online ministry called Unity of the Heart Mind. Of her work, Laura has said, "The people I work with come from all walks of life, youthful dreamers of all ages, people with and without family, busy professionals, people who have transitioned out of the workplace, spiritual and community leaders, and more." What you likely have in common with all of them is a desire to find encouragement in the face of challenge, peace in the midst of conflict, beauty in the people and things of your world, inspiration for contributing to others, and guidance for a rich and fulfilling life. I want this for you, I want this for your community, and I want this for all. Great, sounds wonderful. And after she's finished speaking, Paulette is going to do another special piece on our piano for us. So get ready for a wonderful next, 30 minutes.
Hey, ta-da. Let's look at the clock. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. I'm so happy that each of you are here today. Yeah. You are the face of God.
That's it.
In my heart. You are my family. Wow. It is so great to be here, especially this day, because in about a little more than half an hour, at 11:33 a.m., it will be the Vernal Equinox, or spring solstice. So, yeah, not solstice. Equinox, spring equinox. That's right, the spring equinox. And so can you feel it? Can you feel the rays of the sun approaching the equator, shining directly on the earth, where there's just as much earth above as there is below? Can you feel that? Maybe. But what you can feel, what I feel, is the excitement of spring. So it'll be spring in half an hour, and we'll celebrate at fellowship. How about that? Yeah. And I love spring. Out the back deck of where we currently live, where Larry and I currently live, are these beautiful crepe myrtles. And they're among the first trees to bloom in the spring. And they are filling our back view with these gorgeous bright colors right now. And it's so exciting to just get into all the beauty that surrounds us. I love it, Bob, that you looked around the room, that you read a reading that looked around the room and got a message from everything that was in that room. From the mirror, the windows, the ceiling, the rug, just everything speaks to us of life, And that's what coming into spring does. It speaks to us of life. And so I have one thing to say on the first day of spring. Well, I have a lot to say, actually. But one main thing. whatever it is you call God, you can use that name. And what I say is, thank God I'm alive. Let's say that together. Thank God I'm alive. And say it now and feel it in your whole being. Thank God I'm alive. You know, I just went through a death in my family. My sister passed away about 3 weeks ago. And I'm getting a little choked up, a little teared up, not because of the sadness. I've had that off and on. But because I'm remembering something. She's alive. She's alive. And where she's alive is right here. Because she has left me the richest inheritance of all, which is the joy for life. The appreciation of the small things on a day-to-day basis. The love that not only connects family, but human family. And the kindness to do more than is required to help others. That's all alive right in here. And so she's alive. Her smile, her humor. People have said I'm humorous. I had the best training from my older sister. But anyway, she's still there. And when we recognize that everyone we have known, everyone who has touched our lives is alive in us, then we know that there is life even in death. Even in death. One of the most moving scenes I have seen in a program, a show, or a movie is when the Lion King, Mufasa, is having a very special father-son moment with his son Simba. And he says to Simba, he tells Simba about the circle of life. And he says, you know, we kill and we eat the antelope. But when we die, our bodies become the grass that the antelope eat. And he said, and so the circle of life continues. And he said, everything you see exists inside of this delicate balance. As king, you need to understand that balance, and you need to respect all living creatures. And so Mufasa's message to his son is his message to us as the leaders in our domain of life. The best way to lead is to have that respect for all living things and for all people. For all people. When Larry and I talked about the title of this talk, All Things Being Equal, Larry looked up what that meant and why we use it in our English language as a phrase or an idiom. And the way it was described was, well, if nothing else changes and if conditions remain the same. You know, we're playing on level ground here. But things don't remain the same, do they? Things do change. You know, at 11:33, the sun's rays will be directly on the equator. At 11:35, that's over. because the sun will be on its way to the northern hemisphere. And so things keep coming into that equanimity, as much above as below, and then out again, into balance, and out again. And that's life. That's the circle of life. And so where are you right now in life? Are you in balance? Feet firmly on the ground? Or has the rug been pulled out from under you, metaphorically speaking, of course, and your feet are above your head as you hang there in midair, wondering what's next? Well, when your feet are above you and you're hanging in midair, it's time to reflect and to recreate that balance, because that is life. It goes from balance to out of balance to balance to out of balance, or somewhere in between. But always remember, and I saw this in slow motion on a nature program once, when the cat is thrown in midair, upside down, its body slowly twists around, first the lower legs, then the upper legs, and it lands on its feet. By the way, don't try this at home with your cat. It won't like it. I can tell you from experience as a child doing that same experiment. The cat landed on its feet, but it avoided me for the next week. So how do we become like the cat? How do we land on our feet when we're feeling the rug pulled out from under us? And as a world, we're kind of feeling that right now, aren't we? Yeah, how do we do that? First, we remember 3 basic principles. And I've heard this for decades in unity. I've heard this since I was a child in unity. God is everywhere equally present. Think about it. Even if you don't call it by a religious name, the energy of the universe is coming toward you from all directions all the time. And that energy waves and wiggles and forms into all of the diverse forms in our universe. I love what Deepak Chopra said about us. He said, we are all wiggles in the energy of the universe. That's what makes us distinct, is the way we wiggle. So we are all equal as well. And that is the second principle. God is everywhere equally present. All things and all people are equal because we're all made of the same stuff. No matter who we are, no matter what our education is, no matter what culture we grew up in, no matter what our inclinations are, or opinions, or concepts, or anything that makes us uniquely us, we are all made of the same stuff. All people are created equal. And so our calling is to honor that and to remember that when things get thrown out of balance, life always has a way of rebalancing itself. Always. I'm a student of world history, and Larry's a student of political history, and we can see how empires have come and gone, how wars have been fought and peace times have been experienced. You know, the writer of Ecclesiastes noticed this, you know, and for everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven, because it keeps balancing itself out, just like the sun rises above and below the equator, and in a moment, in a brief moment of time, finds itself directly in that balance. Or maybe it's the earth that tilts toward the sun and back. But life always finds its balance. And sometimes finding that balance is a little chaotic. Hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts. Right now, our atmosphere is trying to find that balance in the midst of all that has been put into it. And it can be chaotic. And when all of humanity is trying to find its balance, it can burst out in some of the most, how can I say it, terrifying ways. But life will find its balance. I think one of the most quoted quotes from Martin Luther King, besides "I have a dream," is that the arch of justice is long, but it always finds its target. It's like I'm paraphrasing, but it's like an arrow finding its target. And it always does. It always does. And so who are we to be in the midst of our whole world looking for balance right now, let alone us in our lives? We are to be the living principles of life. When I said God is everywhere equally present, I meant it. Does that mean God is under the rubble in Ukraine? Does that mean God is where a person is standing in front of their home that's just been hit by a tornado or a fire? Yes. So how can that be? Jenny said it earlier. Because you are the presence of God. And where there are people, there is God. And right now in Ukraine, there are people working toward the betterment of our world and each other. Digging through that rubble, helping the survivors, helping the people who are taking refuge in Poland and other countries. And in the midst of losing a home to a storm or a fire, people come in. They flood in afterwards to rebuild, to start anew. Roll up their sleeves and get in there. God is everywhere present because people are there. And nature. I don't know about you, but when I want a direct, easy connection to God, I take a walk in nature. Yeah. So we can live into all people are created equal by helping the world find its balance again through love. And this is why I chose the particular verse I did today. See if I can find it here. So I read it word for word. Above all, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. It brings the world back into balance. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. You do not have to depend on the world being at peace to know the peace of spirit, because it is in your hearts. You just have to let it be in charge. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called into the one body. All people are created equal, all made of the same body, the same stuff. And be thankful. Thank God I'm alive. Let's say that again. Thank God I'm alive. Yeah. So do you want peace in the world? I think we all do. The way to have it is to not just know the truth, but to embody it. The truth is that God is everywhere, equally present. For you are the presence of God. That we are all created equal, and we can work together, face to face, talk together, heart to heart, and hand in hand, to create a beautiful world and be part of that creation. And that life will always find its balance through the thoughts, the words, and the actions of love. So I'm going to close by reading another biblical passage. Well, I might close with a little something else too. I'm going to close by reading a biblical passage. And I'm going to put a couple of my own words into it. But since the one who wrote this passage is long gone and I'm still here, I can do that. And this is from Isaiah, as he spoke to his people in exile in Babylon. In the wilderness of imbalance, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert of inequality a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and this is what Isaiah said, and all people shall see it together. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken, and the mouth of the Lord is still speaking through your words, through your thoughts, through your actions, and through your life. I think I've shared this poem before. I didn't originally put it in here, but I kind of feel my sister's presence right now. This is a little poem that she wrote when she was in the Youth of Unity. We were at a conference at Unity Village, and it was my first conference. And we had this project to create some art, and we were given crayons and a big sheet of newspaper, and those blank sheets that they make newspaper on. And, I was trying to do my best at being some kind of artist, And we were told to draw out what our life path is. So I drew like this fence that was opening and this path that was on its way to a rising sun. Okay? And then I looked at my sister and her work, and she hadn't drawn a thing, and she was a good artist. What she had done was write a poem on the paper. And this was it. What do you see when you look at me? Do you see the Christ that I can be? Do you see the love that fills my soul? Do you see wonders yet untold? Do you see all that's good and true? You should, I'm reflecting you. Thank you, Harriet. And thank you. And God bless.
Soak in all that beautiful message that Reverend Laura gave us, and we'll listen to play.
A stick of stone, it's the end of the road. It's the rest of a stump, it's a little alone. It's a sliver of glass, it is life, it's the sun. It is night, it is death, it's a trap, it's a gun. The oak when it blooms, a fox in the brush, the knot of the wood, the song of the thrush, the wood of the wind, a cliff, a fall, a scratch, a lump, it is nothing at all. It's the wind blowing free, it's the end of the slope. It's a beam, it's a void, it's a hunch, it's a hope. And the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the end of all strain, it's the joy in your heart. The foot, the ground, the flesh and the bone, the beat of the road, a slingshot stone, a fish of flesh, a silvery glow, a fight, a bet, the range of a bow, the bed of the well, the end of the line, the dismay in the face, it's a loss, it's a find, a spear, a spike, a point, a nail, a drip, a drop, the end of a tale, a truckload of bricks in the soft morning light, the shot of a gun in the den of the night. A mile, a must, a thrust, a bump. It's a girl, it's a rhyme, it's the cold, it's the mumps. The part of the house, the body in bed, and the car that got stuck in the mud. It's the mud. A float, a drift, a flight, a wing, a hawk, a quail, the promise of spring, and the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life in your heart, in your heart. A stick of stone, the end of the load, the rest of a stump, a lonesome road, a sliver of glass, a light, the sun, a night of death, the end of the run, the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the end of all strain, it's the joy in your heart.
All right, thanks, Paulette. Wow, woo-wee. I don't think anybody's going to want to leave today. What a beautiful day we've had today. What time was that the spring going to hit? 11:30? Oh, it's about 11:30. No, it's 11:27 or something. We're getting really, really close. I love that. But thank you, Laura, for that beautiful, that's so wonderful. Because I found myself, like you were talking about, getting, a couple of weeks ago, I was getting so anxious about all this war stuff. And I said, Jenny, you're not putting peace in the world and being that presence of peace if you're upset and nervous and concern. You know what I'm saying? So I had to always get myself centered, back to peace. And what you were saying, God's in it all. There was a real funny saying called, there is no spot where God is not. Some of you have probably heard that one before, but that's pretty one to remember. So this is our opportunity to bless Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center with a gift, love offering, whatever is on your heart to bless our beautiful spiritual center here. I invite you to put that in your hand right now and put it over your heart if you like, or if you give money in so many different ways because of PayPal and things, just know that contribution really does bless all of us and helps us to continue to be here and serve our community. So in that consciousness of abundance, plenty, and all that is good and wonderful, let us say our prayer of plenty. In the infinity of this moment, all is perfect, whole, and complete. We acknowledge the one presence, the one power, expressing through Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center every moment of every day. We open our hearts to the wisdom and intelligence that exists in the universe and in our minds, through which all answers, resources, opportunities, solutions, creativity, and all healing comes. All that is released as we trust that our needs are being met in this moment. Divine order is unfolding for our highest good now. And so it is. So we'll sing our little offering song. I know you know it. Okay. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Feel that. I am so blessed. And guess what? We are so blessed, right? We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. We're blessed because each and every one of you find that this spiritual home is a place that you find just what you're looking for on your journey. And those of you that watch us from home or out there in technology land, we know that you join us because you find something for your soul and you feel blessed by being a part of us. And so we remember too that whenever we give, and we give with that joyful heart, everything we give always comes back to us in many, many, many different blessings, in many, many, many different ways, heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And this is a truth that can set us free. And so it is. Amen. All right, we got some brief announcements, and then we'll do our peace song, prayer for protection, and yeah, woo. I hope you'll take some of the beautiful words of Reverend Laura, just take them into your time of prayer and meditation this week, and let them kind of just rest and percolate.
Wonderful job, Laura.
Thank you.
When are you coming again?
We'll have to send her in from Kansas.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
We'll come back and make it.
It'll be a long trip next time. No, really wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah. Susan, you want to announce about the board meeting today?
There is a board meeting this afternoon after fellowship. Have some fellowship, and then if you want to stay for the board meeting, do that.
And everybody's welcome to attend. Everybody, if you'd like to. And as Ginny mentioned, we do have a new projector. It needs a little tweaking yet, but Corey and Steve have been working on it. And you all know how technical things are this year. I mean, nowadays is what I mean. It never works right the first time. So, but we'll have it, I'm sure, by next week. And next week's talk, Reverend Denise is talking next week, and the title is going to be, Are You a Perennial? And I'll be interested to find out if living for 85 years makes someone a perennial or not. So, God, I'd like to think so. We also are now resuming use of our prayer boxes. One is here, one is in the fellowship room. And if you have a prayer request, please put it in there, and it'll be, that prayer will be read every day for some time. I don't know exactly how long, but
the prayer chaplains.
Pardon?
The prayer chaplains will take them out of the containers, and then they'll send it to everybody in the prayer chaplain program. They'll continue prayer, and then
okay, thank you. And then also Joshua is coming back. He'll be here on the 5th of April. And if you would like to have an appointment, see Reverend Denise, and she will set it up for you to get an appointment. The prayer chaplain today is Susan, we just saw. She'll be back in the corner back there if anybody would like any special prayers. And does anybody else have any announcements? Oh, sure, go ahead.
If you're interested in my online ministry, I do have a website. It's laurabennet.com is the easy thing to remember, or all one word, theheartline.org.
very good. Woo! All right.
Yeah, did I see, do we have your website listed on any piece of paper here? It was, you didn't actually have the website on your,
Yeah, I know.
on your bio.
I know.
If you know her name, it's too easy. laurabennet.com.
That's it.
Okay, that's easy. So her website, laurabennet.com.
And we'll put it in our weekly update this week, and then
Okay, yeah,
everybody
good
will have
idea.
an opportunity to keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So as it's just about time for the spring solstice, why don't we sing the peace song? It's a wonderful way to welcome in spring.
That's it. That's all. We can hold hands if you feel comfortable doing that, and kind of come to the middle of the room, so you have to be stretching out over all kinds of folks. And you coming up, Bob? Oh, okay. Go down the center aisle there. There you go.
Well,
Perfect, perfect.
We'll call it a circle, but
It's an oval. It's an oval, an amoeba. Okay. Woo. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am present.
Presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell. Have a beautiful, amazing week this week. Go out and be the beautiful light in the world that you are. Bless a lot of people this week. All right. Thank you. 1:30 sword just hit. timing.